Hello, everyone. My name is William Bell, Executive Vice President of Products for PhoenixSnap. Today, I've got a great conversation to have with you guys with our friends from Alert Logic, and I'll be joined by Dan Pittman, Principal Security Architect at Alert Logic, and Joel Wilhelm, our Director of Channel Sales at PhoenixSnap. We're specifically going to be talking about, the basics of security by design and how we think that folks can reach this kind of ultimate security in the cloud, or at least penultimate security posture in the cloud. And there's a ton of ways to get there, right? We think that we've got a line on one of the easiest ways to adopt a secure cloud infrastructure. And, I'm excited to talk with our partners about how they can find ways to have this kind of differentiated conversation versus the same old infrastructure as a service. Here's your cloud, and go, right? So that's, if you can kind of take that one takeaway from today, it's going to be, what's different? How is this idea of secure cloud infrastructure, security by design, managed detection, response, and threat, kind of holistic threat management? How's that idea different than just this, enterprise cloud offering based on VMware? So for those of you that don't know, PhoenixSnap has been around for a little over 10 years, and our global footprint has grown substantially. We are delivering services today out of 15 data centers. We have a few more kind of network pops on top of that. And we're focusing our infrastructure services on helping the mid-market get to an infrastructure platform that is secure and makes sense for their business. Not a one size fits all, not a just pick up all your data and move it to my cloud, right? It's how do you start your journey and end up in a place that makes sense for your customers, your end users that you're working with every day. And that's, that's kind of where our focus is across our entire service portfolio. And we believe in the partner. We have focused the last, let's say, 6 years heavily on ensuring that our partners are set up for success and are able and educated to deliver new and differentiated services to their customers. And we work with you hand in hand every single day. We've been working diligently for the last about 15 months or so on a real MSP focus inside that partner program as well. We find that the MSPs that are handling a lot of high value services for their customers need higher levels of education on how our services work, how they can use them to help drive revenue for their business. And again, we want to set you guys up for success. So that's kind of the focus, is everything you're listening to today across, the education, the services and how they're delivered, and the new and exciting technologies that we're bringing to the fold. If you can take that and focus in on, this is going to help me drive my business, I think that will be key for everybody. All right. So here's a little quick snapshot of the PhoenixSnap footprint today. So there's a lot of things going on. I did mention that we have a ton of different ways that we work with partners and customers, and it is so multifaceted. It's, even as the guy that runs products and services for the business, it's exciting to look at the wide array of things and solutions that we can deliver for folks depending on their needs, specific to their needs, I think is the more appropriate way to put that. So, as you're looking at, we're going to talk a lot about security today, and that's going to be the kind of the key point for this webinar. But think about the different ways that you can combine what we're talking about today with other types of infrastructure services, and even interconnect that to the public cloud. So as we dive into security, right, I wanted to kind of set the stage for everybody about why this is important for you to have knowledge about, so that you're able to educate your customers on why they should be paying attention to the security challenges that they're facing, right? These statistics that are shown on the screen here, they can be very kind of scary to think about. And I think that businesses, and I'm sure as you're talking to them, if you're having any security conversations today, um, are starting to wake up slowly to the idea that they may end up being another statistic, right? That they may end up getting hit with just something that seems, just too easy to fall into, right? Some person in an enterprise clicks on the wrong link. You have some poor internal security controls, and then all of a sudden the entire business is shut down with ransomware, right? So we want to make sure that we're, talking about these statistics, not scaring people, but making sure that they're aware that they need to have solutions in place to help them with those things. And when we look and we talk about, the migration and the journey to the cloud, and we talk to customers and we look at the published reports that are out there, what we're seeing is this kind of constant focus on, if I adopt cloud services, how does my security posture change? I know I want to get out of the hardware business. I know I want to focus on apps and software and not infrastructure components to help really drive my business forward. But I'm worried and I'm concerned that this migration and move to anything that is not sitting in a data center that I own and on infrastructure that I own and purchase is scary. But when we look at the reasons that people they start judging these destinations, the public cloud, the hybrid or private cloud as a service, right? People are looking for, your customers are looking for advanced security features and capabilities that can ensure their data protection and security in a cloud service that is not, built on premises, that's not managed by that customer exclusively. So, when we start looking at all these different ways that you can kind of get your foothold in security, we think that it's important, however you choose, whether it's disaster recovery, whether it's primary hosting, whether it's kind of security services is a general conversation track, you have to start focusing on the core issues that exist around security. And so when we look at security by design and our approach, right, we said, look, what can we as the cloud provider control? And how can we ensure that we're doing everything in our power to make for the safest home possible for our customers' data and applications, right? And so we have solutions that we put in place as we build our cloud services. We have partners that we're leveraging where we understand that multi-tenancy can feel daunting and a large kind of attack vector. But when we put our experience and breadth in our communication with our partners to bear, what you'll find in a cloud-based service that your customers can occupy through an easy migration is best in breed technologies, a high focus on security, a white glove approach to helping customers achieve this kind of journey to the cloud, and a focus on making sure that once they get there, that they're not getting security, the same security, not and uptime, not focus on getting the lowest cost and who cares about availability and security, but focus on getting a cost that makes sense for the business and that is an attractive reason to move from the constant buy cycle and deploy cycle and own cycle to a cloud, and get an upgrade to their availability and security. And that was the genesis of our data security cloud product. How can we help customers that have specific concerns with security and compliance, occupy a cloud service that was built with them in mind, that was built specifically to ensure that when they move, that customer is getting a true upgrade to their security posture, a true upgrade to their availability posture, right? Better performance, and at least the same, if not lower cost of the infrastructure resources themselves. And all the vendors I mentioned on the screen, we're working with them every single day to make sure that we have holistic threat detection and the ability to prevent attacks before they happen. And if something, the worst case was to occur, the data protection capabilities that are designed in a way to ensure that your customer's data is safe, even if someone makes a mistake, right? And so, you know, that's the major components of the Data Security Cloud product today. And we're going to dive kind of deeper into how we do that. A little bit of that's going to be on our infrastructure approach. A little bit of that's going to be on the way that we design the service. And you know, my friends at AlertLogic are going to pick up that baton and talk about what they bring to our platform. It's a unified service delivery. I think that's the one thing that's important, right? You get your customers can get the cloud-based service, the data protection, the security and managed detection and response capabilities, all from PhoenixNAP with best of breed technologies under the hood, right? But one person to work with, not a multi-vendor, you know, kind of hope they all can work together approach. And I think that's the last kind of component is the whys, right? We've built this Data Security Cloud product because we find that a lot of times that's what people end up dealing with. They end up dealing with this, you know, I've got public cloud, I've got an MSP to handle some basic kind of patching and things like that, and then I've got an MSSP to help with security, and none of them ever talk to each other, and everyone wants their piece of the pie, and ultimately the solution is very expensive. And so, you know, we have that secured by design. We're bringing that low overhead approach to you as the partner and to the end user specifically, and driving super high value out of the platform, and that time to value for the customer as well. So just, you know, migrate, onboard, recognize value immediately, and that's our focus. And we're bringing all of that from a provider that people trust, right? We have a little over 2,100, 2,200 customers today, right? So a provider that people trust to help them in their business. And then we can combine that. I don't talk about it specifically in slides, but we talked a little bit about it earlier. Combine that with this infrastructure platform that is broad. It isn't just about Data Security Cloud, right? That may be right for this customer holistically or that customer for this application. But a lot of times it's just it's just a cog in the wheel, right? It's just a part of the solution, right? You may have worked with a business to sell a brand new private cloud a year ago, and they're out of capacity, and they may be telling you, hey, I don't want to buy more, right? I want to do cloud things. You know, getting that environment into a location that the infrastructure that the customer owns into a location that can be seamlessly combined with services like Data Security Cloud is yet another way that we're working with our partners and we're working with our vendors to bring kind of that super high value to the customer. So what does all this mean, right? You know, as we look at the Data Security Cloud product, we've tried to heavily bundle solutions that make sense for modern business and deliver those capabilities from a one-stop shop. right? So when you're working with us as a partner, you're talking to your customer, you have the ability to say, look, they can help you with this, they can help you with this, they can help you with this, and not as separate disjointed solutions and a la carte options that are thrown in, as deeply integrated, delivered together solutions that actually improve security, availability, performance, and uptime, right? And we have a kind of an entry-level package we call Data Security Cloud Essentials, and it includes a ton of stuff, right? But for a lot of customers that want that, or that have to have, let's say it's a PCI compliance type of situation or HIPAA compliance type of situation, and there's a ton of required controls that they implement. A lot of times we're talking to customers about our advanced package because we can bring some extra capabilities around network management, firewall management, and our partners can bring a kind of their capability sets to the fold. And today, you know, we're talking with Alert Logic, and Dan's going to walk you through what that looks like in a minute. But it's just an absolute ton of capability that Alert Logic's delivering in this advanced package, along with extra services that we've bundled in to make for a truly comprehensive service delivery, to help that customer look every which way and say, yep, I know that with this, and this, I feel secure. I feel comfortable with my stance. Is it perfect? Is it every last T crossed and I dotted? You know, possibly not. There's tons of ways for the customer to do something else that's going to impact their security and availability. But you as the partner can trust that we're helping your customer get that 80% the way there, 85% the way there. And they only have to pick up a couple of things that are very specific to their environment, policies and procedures, or web threat protection, or whatever it is. There's any other thing that we don't offer. It's a very kind of low bar for them to meet if they have anyone that's doing IT for that organization. So just try to keep that in mind. And we talked a lot about like this secure by design architecture. I'm going a little bit deeper on the next slide, but you know, we've tried to think of every single step along the way and how it pertains to securing a customer's data and application, right? The hypervisor, the networking technologies, the endpoint protection capabilities, the vulnerability management, the threat management, the response and capabilities around remediation and recommendation, right? All of these components working together to deliver this holistic security. And so build it from the ground up for your customers that have security and compliance needs, that they've come to you or you've talked to them once before and they said, yeah, you know, I'm really struggling to get the right tools in place, make them all work together, make everything better on my end, right? And I just can't find the talent. I just can't get the right solutions in place. I just can't make them all work together. You know, the SIEM I bought is driving me nuts because it's just talking, you know, chatty all the time, and my teams don't know exactly what to do with all these threats, right? We're trying to simplify all of that and bring it to you and your customer so that you can provide super high value. So as you talking to your customers and you're able to talk about solutions like this, you look like a winner, right? You look like somebody who actually cares about their environment and is ready to help them take it to the next level. We focus a lot on the endpoint side as well, and it kind of, as you get further up into the Data Security Cloud Advanced package, and you get Alert Logic's capabilities and you get Sophos's capabilities, you're able to just bring a ton of extra effort to the forefront to um, to help secure all facets of the data. You got NSX doing the security, network security. You got Sophos doing the endpoint security. You got guys like Alert Logic helping you wrap all of that visibility and protection around all of that, and expertise. That's definitely something that's very valued for customers. And then, as we're going to transition this conversation in a minute, I'll kind of wrap everything up from a PhoenixNAP technical and product perspective, kind of remind everyone that we're looking at every bit of the stack that we feel empowered to help with, right? We're trying to bring the best of breed capabilities to the forefront. And with our partners at Alert Logic, we're doubling down on every one of these line items. Everything you see on this slide, we're making sure that the security is taken up 10 notches, right? Not just the infrastructure, not just the servers, not just the storage, right? The networking and hypervisor capabilities, but into the applications, into the operating systems, and at the perimeter as well, right? So it's really protecting to the perimeter and beyond, right? That's the focus point. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Dan Pittman, Principal Security Architect at Alert Logic, and he's going to walk you through the next little bit.
Thanks, Will. Yeah, so fundamentally, hopefully I can tell you a little bit about Alert Logic, why we're good at security, why we do what we do, and I'll show you some little bits of detail around the product and obviously how we work with PhoenixNAP. So just a bit of context, right? So Alert Logic has been doing this since 2002. We talk about managed detection and response these days, but we really feel like we've been doing that since day one. So providing security as a service. And there's a saying in security, there's two sayings that are really important here, really. One is that you can't secure what you can't see. So the visibility for us, coverage across the application and system stack is really critical. And the other thing is assume breach. And what that means is you need to make sure that you're protected up front as best as possible and you're ready to respond, that your customers are ready to respond in the event of a breach. And we can think about that on two sides of the breach. A phrase that we use sometimes, and I think it's come from intelligence, is left of boom or right of boom. So that boom being the explosion, the breach in the middle. And so it's really important that, one, you can minimize the likelihood of a breach on the left of the boom. And that's where things like antivirus come in, like you're getting within the packaging, more extended protection as well there. So one of the things you'll notice that we start providing is extended endpoint protection, and that's a more sort of intelligent behavioral analysis of endpoint threats. You need to make sure you've got really great visibility into the environment, the vulnerabilities, any configuration challenges to really minimize, like I say, the likelihood of an attack. And then in the event of a breach, in the event of attack, you need to be able to respond super quickly. And that means having, the data collected for a start, having visibility into what's happening right there and then, having great analytics to detect it quickly. But the way you detect threats is by knowing about them. So threat intelligence is critical for that. The people that work for us that do research and understand what's happening in all the corners of the dark web and the sort of attacker communities enable us to stay ahead of the attackers, to build new detection technologies, to really be focused on security and embed that within our partners. And being able to provide that information in a way that is meaningful to your customers is also really important. Letting them know where they need to focus their efforts, letting them know when things are better, that they're improving through reporting, and being able to visualize your environments is really important. So, sorry, bit of lag there. Fundamentally, it's a partnership between us all. So from Alert Logic's point of view, we provide lots of great technologies, the people that understand security, the platform to collect that data, analyze it, and start to understand which incidents are really worthy of escalating, which ones we then need to start working with PhoenixNAP to understand them, make sure we can report on them, and make sure as a partner we can respond to them, and get that information into the hands of the right people that can do something about it. It's very much a process, and one that really takes multiple different disciplines working together. Security expertise, understanding of the infrastructure, understanding of the customers themselves, your customers, bringing these things together is really important. And that's why it's a much better model than, as Will was saying, bringing together different providers, trying to get them to work together. That then becomes your customer's problem. And we're taking that, fundamentally, that challenge off their hands by working together as partners. When we start to think about the actual process behind the scenes, as I said, we're collecting all that great data, really understanding what's going on, detecting those threats is the critical part. So we're now right of boom, understanding that those attacks, which ones are important, which ones we need to find more information out about, validating them and escalating them, working with PhoenixNAP to understand what's happening and making sure that we can do something about them, and then continuously working all together to make sure that we can reduce that likelihood even further, whether that's through advice or improving our own processes and systems to make sure that we're providing the tools to your customers to understand their security posture. So just want to give a bit of detail on some of those features, that functionality. So one of them is discovery. So visualizing, you can see this great part of our UI here. So being able to visualize the environment is really important, understanding which part of that environment needs focus. And that's one of those most important things in security, as I said, is visibility and understanding where to focus your efforts. All too often, my background was in infrastructure management, managing lots of large servers, lots of large server farms, and being able to understand which ones I really need to focus my security efforts on, get patched, check configurations, etc., is really important. So being able to visualize that is critical. When we start to get into scanning, again, we're trying to minimize the likelihood of attack. Being able to, one, run scans as often as possible, have a minimal amount of impact on people's systems they're running. It's always a concern with vulnerability scanning, but a lot of focus for us is making sure that our scans are low impact and appropriate. And identifying gaps in the network and the applications and things like that, security risks, is the point of this. And then being able to understand the next step. Our vulnerability scanning system is a little different to some others. My experience was always you get this big list of servers, but what we try and do is give an action to take. So go and perform this action, update this thing in the environment, and you'll deal with all of these vulnerabilities rather than just a big long list of vulnerabilities. So it's really about what a human being needs to work with rather than a technical solution. We mentioned compliance. We'll mention compliance at the start of the call early on, and that's a real core part of our service. So one, we're ASV, PCI ASV approved. So our scans, our internal and external vulnerability scans, provide comprehensive PCI reporting. We provide PCI support, and we can make sure that the reports are ready to be audited in effect, and provide very quick, actionable ways within our reporting system to demonstrate the compliance within the environment. As I said earlier about dashboards, I think I mentioned dashboards. Having a view at a glance on what's happening with the environment is really important. Part of daily checks that people want to perform, understanding how many perhaps incidents need looking at and their criticality, and being able to understand which parts of the environment, again, need focus from a threat point of view, from a vulnerability point of view, which endpoints perhaps haven't been turned into block mode. All these kind of things are really important to daily improving your security posture, your customers improving their security posture daily. One of the things we do is take in all of that data around vulnerabilities, their exploitability, importantly, and other factors like their proximity to the perimeter and produce a threat risk index. And this is going to give your customers an indication of the risk within the environment and a great ability to be able to demonstrate their improvement. So as that risk index goes down, we're seeing an improvement within the environment, less exploitability, less likelihood of attack. And as I said, reporting and visibility is a really core part of our service. So we provide a significant number of reports. There's not enough time to go into all of these today, but they're really focused around providing, one, actionable information about the environment, the risks, the threats, and the vulnerabilities, as well as compliance. And importantly, trying to strike a balance between detailed information that can be used to take action based on, and executive style reporting that can be used to inform other people within the business and leadership within the business. So for example, our risk and posture reports will give view at a glance information around security posture, that threat risk index and enterprise risk. So in contrary to the dashboards, these are available to be published out, pushed out, emailed around as PDFs, etc., to different people within the organization, whether or not they've got user access into the console. Okay, so at that point, I'm going to hand back to Joel to wrap up for us and take us home. Thanks very much for listening.
All right. Well, thank you, Dan, very much for that. And before I get started, I wanted to see if anyone wanted to raise their hand, had any questions for Dan and Will regarding Data Security Cloud, our partnership with AlertLogic. So any questions, if you have, you could put them in a chat, and we'll be happy to answer those real quick. Okay, I'm not seeing anything at this time. So if you do have questions that do come up, please feel free to reach out to us. You know, partner@phoenixnap.com is our distro. We'll be happy to get you in touch with the right people. We would also be more than happy to help, you know, train your sales and SE teams on these solutions a little bit more in depth. So feel free to reach out and ask for maybe some one-on-one time, some demonstrations of the technologies if you're not familiar. We're also more than happy to jump on calls with you and your clients to go through these solutions and help them understand the value. And I think that's one of the important things here is understanding that they're getting a lot more than just some compliance requirements met with these solutions. This is true protection all the way up the stack, compliance, security. It's proactive. It's not necessarily just reactive. And we want to help you and your clients succeed in this space. So our target customers, right? PhoenixNap, you know, we work with a lot of companies in all verticals, and most have compliance concerns. As a matter of fact, even small businesses are adopting our Data Security Cloud Essentials package at a very high rate versus other cloud packages, simply because they feel they have critical data that you know, they don't want hacked, even if it's not something that hits a compliance mandate chart. They just feel more secure putting their company's data in this cloud platform. So it's a great way to bolster your cloud services offering by offering something customers can feel confident in, right? It scales easily. I think that you know, VMware private cloud hosting from PhoenixNap is super simple. 3-5 SKUs and you've got a turnkey cloud. Basically CPU, RAM, storage, some bandwidth, some IP, and you'll get the interface that you can take all of those resources and build out your environment without using t-shirt sizes, without having to worry about data architecture. We've done all that legwork. So it's super simple for you and your customers to leverage. We've already talked about the security format of that. So highly customized, right? We can do a lot of things with these services. We run on high-end processors, high-end storage, so the IOPS and the performance and everything that your customers would expect are there. So we can take on a lot more than just back office. Let's put it that way. Let's see. Can we advance the slide? I'm not sure it's working on my end.
Yeah, no problem. Gotcha.
Thank you. So what we want to do here is engage, right? We want to take opportunities, obviously, that you're finding with your base, whether it be prospecting or current customers that are looking to make a transition into cloud and infrastructure as a service. You know, our partner portal, every one of our partners has access to it, whether you're leveraging it or not. A lot of content is there, battle cards, data sheets, all of those things that you need as resources are there, as well as on the PhoenixSnap website. So we're really easy to engage with. But one of the advantages of using our partner portal is obviously the streamlined deal registration process. Many are used to sending us an email, and we'll take care of it. But that's where we start. We go back to the partner portal, we log in, we enter the deal. But you can log in and also track deals in flight and get updates on statuses there as well. So there's a lot of collateral. We've even put together some email blasts, some email campaign, like 1, 2, 3-step programs, so that way you can copy and paste those into emails, customize them, and send them out to do some prospecting on your own. And of course, we have a full dedicated channel management team. We have SEs. We have a brand new solution architect that's joined us as well, that comes in from the industry and understands the space very well, that's going to be helping us help you go to market, understand these solutions, and the extra value that PhoenixSnap brings and the differentiation we can bring to your organization. Next slide, please. And to wrap this up, you know, we've got an entire channel management team. Let me see if we can advance. There we go. And we have a brand new addition to the team. His name is Dean, and he is, there we go. It looks like it's working on my end again. So currently, this is how we have regionally carved up our territories. We have the Pacific Northwest covered by Dan Golden. Dean, welcome to the team. He's our West Region and Tola Region interim channel manager. Peter Marr in the East Region, and Eric Carlson in the Midwest. So you should be familiar with these gentlemen, and working with them is very easy. Their contact information is here. If anybody needs the PowerPoint deck after this webinar, I'd be happy to send it out. Otherwise, use partner@phoenixsnap.com if you would like to engage and get more information from us. Thank you again for your time, and I'm glad that you were able to learn about one of our most valuable services, Data Security Cloud with AlertLogic, and happy to help you go to market and sell more and be more successful with your clients. Thanks again.
Thank you for that, Joel. Thanks again, everybody. Hope everyone stays safe, and we will be in touch on delivering some of the content that we've talked about today, and look forward to working with you. Thank you so much and have a great day.